Welcome. Today we're going to cover commercial symbols on blueprint reading. A lot of these symbols are also used in residential. If you want to go look at the residential symbols video, we'll go in depth over a lot of these. So on this video, I'm going to skip over some of those, kind of barely talk about them, and go on through to the ones that are only on commercial for the most part, and not go in depth too much if that's okay. For example, fluorescent lighting and recessed fluorescent lighting on commercial prints is the same way. Power panel, ground, speaker. This will be a shop light. We use a clock outlet on commercial buildings. This will be in a lot of classrooms, have clocks, have clock outlets where they can hook together to the main office, where they can change their times from the main office to keep everybody synced on the same thing. So we didn't see this in residential, but in commercial applications, we see this a lot more. Courtrooms, if you have a building with multiple courtrooms, you want to keep the courts on track, this is what you would do. Amp meter, voltmeter, these are watt-hour meter, power factor meter. These are stuff that are installed on the switch gear in a commercial building a lot of times. As you go through the switchgear menu, you can see the volts, the amps, the watt-hour meter, and you can even see a power factor on some of them. Wiring concealed walls or ceilings, wiring in concrete floors. You'll see more of this on a commercial building than you would on a residential. Switch leg is the same. Vapor discharge light. This could be a mercury vapor light on the outside of a building or in a parking lot. We're moving to more of a LED. You still run across some of these. LED in the long run would be better, but you still have some customers that have the mercury vapor discharge light. Okay, the junction box, motion detector floodlight, recessed can light. Now this one you'll see a lot without the square around it, so you got to be careful. Even though it's a circle with an R, it could be a can light without the recessed box looking thing around it. So that's two different ways to see that symbol. A quad, that means you got two duplexes that you can plug into, gives you 4 total spots. Home run circuit, it's got the little triangle. On commercial jobs, we get into a lot of the 2 home runs in the same conduit, or 3 even as much, and you'll have one little triangle for each home run. So if this was circuits 1, 2, and 3, you would have 3 of them, but in this case it's 2, so it could be 1 and 2, 10 and 12. It's according to how your panel is labeled, and we can get into that more in a future video. Single pole switch, it's either an S with a money sign, or it could be just a regular S. Both of these are a little different. Also, this one's got a 1, but it could be just an S. 2 bulb floodlight. Weatherproof receptacle. Double pole switch is a 2, 3-way, 4-way switch with a pilot light. Multi-wire circuit. Now this comes down from this. These 3 wires, or these 3 represent 3 wires. And a ground. This is a little backwards than what I would like to see. I'll show you one if I can find one by the end of the video. I don't like the way this is wrote out. Usually your hot wires are your big ones. So if you had 3 circuits, you'd have 3 big slashes, a medium slash for a neutral, and a little bitty slash for a ground. Directional lamp, pull switch, probably a keyless fixture, something like that. A single receptacle, again for a special appliance, something you don't want anything else plugged up with. Transformer pad. In the commercial buildings, we actually have transformer rooms, switchgear rooms that have these in there. Also, the transformer might not be on a pad, and it may have a square with a transformer, not a P. It may just say the XFMR with a square, and you may have a hanging transformer in that room. That'll be on the blueprints a lot of times. Okay, now this is something that goes back to the home runs and the amount of circuits, the multi-branch wire circuit. Duplex receptacle is the symbol on branch circuit 5. That's the 5. It could be a 2, which means circuit 2, 12, whatever the number is. It's probably looking at the circuit number. As we slide over here, you can see on this one, it's got a 13, so that's circuit 13. Up here, this is circuit B3. That's B3, so that's coming out of panel B, circuit 3. There's a B28 and 32 disconnect for a water heater. So there's different ways. That's how you find out the circuit number. It's the little numbers beside it. That's circuit 03. All right, so let's come back over here. You got weatherproof switch, dimmer switch, low voltage switch, and low voltage master switch. And these are in commercial buildings a lot. The low voltage switch gets you 24 volts because your lighting in a lot of commercial buildings will be 277 volts. And they try to keep that up in the ceiling where nobody can open a cover and get to 277 volts. So they do a lot of low voltage switching. Conduit turned down. If it was an open circle, it's conduit turned up. That's right there. I skipped that, I'm sorry. Circuit breaker, there's the transformer. If you see that symbol, that means there's a transformer in that room. In-floor receptacle, split circuit receptacle, that means the top half is switched and the bottom half is not, or vice versa. Fire alarm. Commercial buildings have a lot of wall-mounted fire alarms. Each fire alarm device may have its own different symbol. You got a horn strobe, strobe only, speaker. So you got to look at your fire alarm drawings a lot of times to see exactly what fire alarm device goes there. Pull station, heating or AC panel, also could be a lighting panel. Could be something supplied from a generator. There's a couple different ways. You need to look at the legend on some of this stuff every time. Fuse, generator, wires are connected, range hood, garbage disposal, fire alarm with a strobe. See how the strobe is right there? That's what I was talking about, the two different ones. So you really got to watch that. Dishwasher, heat pump, clothes dryer. All these are on the others. You'll use bells more in commercial buildings, schools especially. Television, chime, incandescent light, incandescent wall light, air conditioner unit, push button. This could be a push button to let somebody in the door or to speak through a microphone situation like a fast food restaurant. There's numerous things this could be. This is a special purpose receptacle. Lamp holder of some sort. Could be a special lamp holder they want. Buzzard. Range, lighting panel, thermostat, exit lights. And in commercial buildings, you got to have exit lights at your exits. There's codes on the how many exits you got to have per building and all that. We're not going to really get into that. But at every exit, you got to have an exit light. In hallways, you got to have exit lights. Tell them where the exits are. Switch controls a light. A. If you got switching in a room that's A and B, this switch controls lights A or lamps A, and then there'll be another one marked B that does the B's. So the door switch, switch and receptacle combo, a switch that's fused, a keyed switch. And you have these a lot of fire alarm situations, or even some kind of doors or basketball goals in gymnasiums. They have to use a key where they can't just anybody go over and flip the switch and open something or turn something on. They have to have a key type where only certain people have access to it. Branch circuit exposed and unfinished area. This is exposed conduit they want you to run nice and neat. Track lighting, a data symbol, Ethernet, under the floor duct system. There are some raised floors where you can take panels up like you do ceiling grid, but it's in the floor. You pull the floors up and you run your wires underneath it and come up. 911 dispatch offices use it a lot, data rooms, stuff like that, where they've got a lot of stuff going on. They'll have these raised floors and they got under the floor ductwork going through. It's pretty neat. 20-amp receptacle, conduit down, conduit up. Circuit in the floor. You notice how these are about the same, so you kind of need to watch what it's asking for on the key on the legend. Generator. You've seen how there's another generator up we went through that was different. So every print can be a little different. Motor controller, disconnecting isolating switch. So that's a disconnect with an isolating part to it. This is a disconnect, a door opener, a horn, and fire alarm device. These are both on the fire alarm. You'll use a horn on the fire alarm a lot of times. Dimmer switch. So another Surface Raceway. There's the one I was talking about earlier. This looks more like the one home runs that I'm used to. Branch circuit 5, 7, and 9 home run to PAL. So 5, 7, and 9 are the 3 big wires. Neutrals